Hey, welcome everybody. I'm here with my friend John Medina in sunny California. John, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Max. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
We're jealous. Now, what part of area do you serve in California? Where are you at?
Well, I'm in Los Angeles, San Pedro, California, and we serve
Okay.
the Los Angeles and Orange County markets.
So what do you do in real estate? How do you make money and help people?
Well, we're pretty much, real estate investors. So we buy houses, we fix them up, and basically we flip houses. That's
Yeah.
probably the easiest thing to say that people realize nowadays, that word.
Yeah, very cool. And who's like an ideal candidate, if somebody's watching this and they're in the area, like who are the folks that you're serving the most, and like can, really get some value from your services?
Yeah, and that's a great question. Most of the people that we serve, it seems like, are people that just basically have homes that they want to sell.
Yeah.
They don't want to deal with realtors. They don't want to deal with open houses. They're basically, some of the houses need work, and some of them they don't need too much work at all. It's just they just like the service that we provide, which is, and the value that we bring. We're all about bringing value. I know you are too, right? That's what we're here for, is to bring value to people. And the value that we bring is that we pay cash. We can close quickly.
Mm-hmm.
We're very flexible on the terms, so we can close in 7 days or 60 days. You can take what you want with you and leave the rest behind. So if you have a house full of lifelong treasures or just things you've been collecting, you can just walk out the door and we'll take care of that for you. So and we're really easy to work with, and there's and we basically just do what we say we're going to do. So yeah, it makes it really easy.
Never fails. Yeah, that's like a good one to live by. And I know that you guys didn't just go to a seminar and here you are this year. Like, you've been doing this a while. How long have you been helping people in the LA area?
Wow, it's been I started in about 2012 when I first started buying my first houses.
Okay, cool.
Here, and I started buying them as rentals.
Mm-hmm.
That was my first thing, because I used to have a plumbing business.
Cool.
So I do have a pretty good background in construction, and I started buying rentals, and then I got to the point where I was like, wow, this is a pretty good business. I really love doing this. This is awesome. It just fits my personality, and I like helping people, and I like just bringing value to people. And I basically just 2014 I went full time. So yeah, we have been doing it for a while.
Yeah, and you do, you work on a lot of deals, and you have a ton of expertise, top 1%, in the whole LA area. So for people who are listening, what's it like in your market right now? What are some of the trends that you're seeing, and what do you think things look like, maybe for just the near future?
Well, right now I think it's pretty much the same all across the nation, that the real estate market is what they're saying is extremely hot, right?
Yeah.
There's not a lot of inventory, meaning there's not a lot of homes for sale. Mm-hmm. and there's a lot of competition to buy these houses. So, but with that being said, that's just kind of what's going on out there, and we just get up every day, do the same thing, provide value to people, and we're just looking to just looking for people that want to kind of an easy sale, so to speak. So
there's people who are they've got fancy websites, and they say that they can pay these exorbitant amount for houses, but the old phrase is, there's sometimes it's, things are too good to be true. And so what are you noticing, like, what are some of the biggest mistakes that if somebody's like watching this and they're like trying to figure out how to sell their house, Google is a great tool, and it helps a lot of people get information, but sometimes it can be information overload, or like just kind of maybe even just connecting with the wrong person. So like, what advice would you give for somebody who's trying to vet out like the right solution to like just figure out what to even do with their house? Like, where do they start?
Well, if you're going to Google, we have a website, and I feel it's actually a really informative website. And I think the best thing about our website is true. All the testimonials, all the people that are interacting with us and offers giving us testimonials, they're all true stories. So right. A lot of people are going on and they're getting this character references from people. They might not even done business with them. They're basically saying like, hey, oh, John's a great guy. Well, I have a lot of people that think I'm a great guy that I've known for years, right? But I haven't done business with them, right? Exactly. So that's one thing too. Are they actually producing real testimonials from clients, right? And I think the more testimonials that they have, the better off. Well, there's credibility. So the credibility is the first piece, right? And you got to remember too that sometimes too on some of these reviews, there are people out there that just like leaving bad reviews and they don't even do business with you. I have a couple of those, and it's just what happens when your name's out there and you're doing stuff, right?
100%.
People sometimes get you confused with somebody else, but
Yeah, it's honest mistake.
everybody we've ever done business with has been satisfied with our service. And the big thing is we have these core values that we live by, right? And do the right thing, and we put people over money. They're on our website listed, you know. So we live to these core values, right? And everybody in my company has to agree to these core values before they can even come to work with us, right? So we have a small team. It's Brian's is the admin assistant and transaction coordinator. You know, Peggy that's in sales. That's who everybody talks to, and Ricky, my partner. We're all in agreements with these core values, and we don't sway from them, right? So we're really big on these core values, and we're all in alignment with them. And then we seem to be attracting people into our business, our customers that like these core values, and they want to do business with us, right? So that's one thing. I just think that there's a lot of baiting and switching going on in this business. You know, real estate investors kind of have a bad name, and or some do, you know, because sometimes guys get contracts, and we've seen that. You know, people might get a contract. They might sign a contract with another investor, and then all of a sudden they call us up, you know, 2 months later and say, "Well, wow, we thought you went with somebody else." And they'll go, "Oh yeah, well we did, but he made us all these promises, and he never called us back. He never opened escrow. He never put the earnest money deposit in. Everything that he said he was going to do, he didn't do." And then that just basically is not good for the whole industry in itself, right? So
yeah, no, I know you're doing it above board, and I know that you work with a lot of seniors. So what made you decide to help, these, seniors with their houses, the challenges they face, and how big of an opportunity is it, for real estate investors to kind of maybe pivot a little bit and help this really fast growing demographic? What are your thoughts on that whole thing?
Yeah, I've done a lot of deals with seniors, and in all different kind of scenarios, so to speak. But sometimes people when they're seniors, they have to make kind of like, it depends on the situation. Sometimes they're in a place where they just don't want to deal with a lot of people in their house. Yeah. The service that we provide is a lot easier than dealing with a realtor, bringing open houses and having people coming here, especially with COVID, right? They're kind of more, what's the word I'm looking for? They're higher risk. Yeah. Right. So the more people you expose yourself to, a lot of the seniors I know right now are not really social. Even my parents, I see them, but from a distance, and it's just a big concern, right? Everybody wants to stay safe. So we basically once we sign a contract, we pretty much just maybe do one inspection afterwards, and that's it. So we're not bringing a lot of people in the house. And the other thing is sometimes, so that's a plus. And then the other situation I notice sometimes is people need money to move their loved ones into senior care, whatever type of facility they need. And we're able to, a lot of times, to go ahead and once what we do is we open escrow, and then we just make sure that the legal things like the title is clean and they own the house. We're able to release money to them so that they have within a couple days. So they have money to go ahead and maybe put the equity from the home is basically going to provide care for this particular person, right? So we're able to release some money up front to them so that they can basically get their loved one into the right facility that they want to put them in. And then now all of a sudden that alleviates all that stress. Is, hey, we don't have the money to take care of mom. We're going to basically, John Medina Buys Houses is going to give us pretty much like an advance, and based on like the purchase price, and then we through escrow. And then basically that allows them to kind of deal with the situation with having to getting mom or dad safe, because that's the most important part with everybody, especially your loved ones. You always want to make sure you're taking care of them, right? So that's big for the families. A lot of stress goes on with that. Then that alleviates the first stress, and then the second thing that helps is that now they don't have to worry about like they might want to take some of the personal belongings that they want, but my grandma, when she passed away, her carpet was 40 years old, 30 years old, right? It's just, it's an older couch that they've had for a long time. So in that situation, they can leave they take what they want with them, and they leave the rest behind. And that's a big plus too, right? And the paperwork's real easy. We basically, they don't have to go they don't have to sign the paperwork like in the escrow office unless they choose to. but we send out we send out an escrow officer or a traveling notary directly to them, and we pay for everything. So there's no out-of-pocket cost for everything. We pretty much have like a concierge service, and we bring everything to them. They sign all the paperwork, and pretty much we set up a closing date, and it's done. So it's that easy. There's no cleaning. It just makes it, it kind of takes away the stress of and there's no repairs. There's nothing they have to deal with except all their focus can go right back onto their loved ones, which makes it really attractive for a lot of people.
Yeah, that's huge. And when my grandma started getting sick, and it was December of the year before she passed away, it happened kind of sudden. And I'm glad we dealt with the sale of her house afterwards, because she died in the home, which was a good thing, But it took us, but that time, she was from when she got sick until she passed away, it was only about 90 days. And it's like, I wouldn't want to be, I'm glad that for those 90 days, even though I, had a new family and, a job and coaching high school footballs, pretty crazy, busy in Texas, but even with all that, in California too, Florida. And, but even with that, I was able to go over there a lot and spend a lot of time with her. And it's like, if your loved one's older and they're sick, that's kind of a red flag, like, time, like all of us. I mean, we only have so long on the planet. So it's like, how do you really want to be spending your time? I remember buying houses I remember one guy in particular that owns a business in our area. When he came to us, he originally wanted to fix up the house and sell it, because he thought that he's a pretty handy guy. He's a mechanic. And so he thought, well, I can make more money if I do that. But the thing is like, your team can get stuff done so much more affordably. And his time, is so valuable because, he's got a sick family member. So I think when families factor in their time and how much their time is worth, all the advance and then having it such a clean closing is just like amazing. So I want to ask you one more question here. Sure. So first of all, congrats on qualifying for our Trusted Expert program. It says a lot about your reputation, which is great. People can check it out on your website. And congrats on being a new author. We're excited to get involved in helping you get your book out to a lot of people. When your book comes out, how are you? What's in it, and how do you plan on sharing it with people? What's the game plan?
Well, it's great. It's I'm really excited about this, and thanks for the opportunity to kind of partner with you, Max, because you're kind of the trusted expert throughout the nation in this whole realm of senior housing. So senior living. So the book is about basically just giving people options. So what I like about the book is it's basically it's just telling everybody what their options are. There's some stories in there. There's basically letting everybody know exactly what to expect, what you can expect from if you're going to use a realtor. Hey, you know what? Another thing too, my partner Ricky's a realtor. So if people want services as a realtor, we offer that too. That's kind of like our second phase, right? Yeah. So we do that too. So basically what it is just giving people options. And I think the greatest thing about it is it's just straightforward. Yeah. And it's not misleading, and it's telling people the truth about what to expect, right? And it's a roadmap to kind of get people from the beginning to the end. And who knows where you're going to be at in this journey, but it lays the whole thing out, right? And if you feel like if you're in a position to where what like the service we offer with paying cash and kind of moving quickly, and that concierge service, if that's something that you don't feel is right for you, we also can list your house and sell it, on the open market, and that's fine too. So I basically feel that book is just it's just a kind of a way to just kind of lace things out in simple reading, simple terms. It's not very long, so it gives you a lot of options. And I think we all want options, right? I mean, that's what we're all looking for. We all want options in life. You don't want to just be put in one box. That's the greatest things about being human beings, is that we there's so many different people, there's so many different ways of thinking, that if you give people a lot of options, and especially if you tell them the truth and you're giving the truthful options, we're not, and we realize, hey, we might not be the best fit for you if you want the most money and for your house, which most people want. But like, say your house is pristine and it's in really good condition, and you have all there's a chapter that tells you you might not be a good fit for a cash investor. You might be. So it's giving you the options, and the greatest thing of it is you can pick which one you like. But I think it covers everything. I don't think there's like really not much in there this stuff isn't really, it's pretty much like there's some basic steps that you have to go through. So it's kind of laying it out, and you can kind of just pick whatever one's best for you. And I'm fine with whatever works good for people and their families, right?
Yeah, when I was looking over your book, one of the things that stood out to me were two things. One of them was, I like how in your book you have the pros and cons of each option, because a lot of the times, like if somebody's coming to you for anything and they're only talking about the pros of their service, it's like, come on, are you like, there's nothing like that. Like if like nothing in life only has pros. There's pros and cons to everything. So I like how you just like say it up front instead of just like hoping that we won't figure it out or something. Like that's so cool just to be like really transparent about it. And the other thing that I like is I like how, especially in your workbook, how it just kind of like walks people through. It's like, it feels like it's like a roadmap for families who don't really have a roadmap. And a lot of times, especially for seniors, like everybody thinks everything's cool. And then somebody has a stroke in the middle of the night. And now all of a sudden they've got to like make a lot of plans. And there's a lot of people, like, it doesn't even matter what the income is, that they don't really have all of these things mapped out. And there's a lot of questions they haven't even really thought of. And so when there's a situation in their family, it's super stressful. And I feel like if you came to my house and we went through some of the workbook stuff together, and you were showing me some of the questions in there, which are dynamite, I would feel like the stress is going down, because I feel like I'm getting control back of the situation, because I'm not making decisions about things I don't know anything about. It's like I'm getting some like update of like what things really look like, what kind of budget I need to expect, if I'm trying to get my parents, into a good place, and all of these things, making sure that I'm getting in the right place, making sure that, I can tell my brothers and sisters that we're selling our parents' house, we're going with the right person and we're going with the right strategy. And so those are like two things that I really like about what you're doing. You
brought up some really good points, and one thing too that I think happens during this process is now all of a sudden you're not even thinking about selling your home or your mom's home, and now all of a sudden, like you said, life happens, right? Life happens, and it happens fast,
right?
And now all of a sudden you're in a position to where it's like, wow, mom or dad's in the hospital, they can no longer. It's happened to my family. It's like, wow, grandpa had a heart attack, and he broke his, my grandpa years ago broke his ankle, and then from breaking his ankle, he had a heart attack. Now where does, my mom's father, where does he go?
Right.
He can't go home because grandma passed first, right? So he ends up going to my mom's only child, so to speak, in the front room, because she had the ability to take care of him, right? And then, wow, but some people are far away. They have to come into town only for a couple of days. They have to go back to work. Their life is going on but their life is going on, but basically mom or dad, their loved one is in a position where they're kind of in limbo now. What do you do? And you can't force medical stuff. It takes time. And I remember in my situation, like when my grandpa had a heart attack, it was pretty much, we got the news that he probably wasn't going to live much longer. But you want a lot of information, and you want kind of that outcome to change, because it's very vague. It's not a stop date. And so how do you deal with this stuff, it just opens up a whole can of worms, so to speak. And there's a lot of stuff that has to get dealt with. So the book just kind of lays things out. I would say, if you're listening to this and you don't have a living trust, I think that's the easy, that would be that's like, I had a living trust in 1997 when I bought my first house, right? It just makes things a lot easier for other people, right? Probate, we do probate deals. We have a couple right now, but they drag on, and it just becomes really more stressful for the loved ones that are left behind. So if you get a living trust right up front, right now, for your house, it makes it real easy for people to make decisions, and you don't go to court, and it doesn't cost a lot of money, right?
That's huge. So
that's one thing. That's a big tip right there for people that are listening. That if you own I don't care how old you are, get a living trust, because it's just a little bit of work, and maybe $400 or $500, depends where you're at, and then you have a document that's real easy, and they're your wishes too, right? So
exactly.
That's a really good tip right there. That makes it easier on people. So Yeah, the book just lays it out in black and white. And if you're a black and white person, you'll love it, you know. And
Right.
some people wait to do things at the very end, and some
Yes.
people are really good at that. I'm pretty good at putting things together when I have to,
Yeah.
especially being in business. So are you, right? You got to make decisions.
You have
and,
to.
you know, I'm very thought out and well planned out. But then again, in a stressful situation, I make decisions. You know what? Sometimes they're great decisions, sometimes they're not. It's just, but I make a decision. And a lot of people have a hard time making decisions. And I think especially when stress is brought on. So anything that people could do to make this process easier, the book kind of lays it all out for you. So that's one of the greatest things about it.
And we're excited to have you, and you know, kind of tap in and make it easy for you to get your book out and share the message with others. If there's a real estate investor that's listening and they're in a different market, you know, and they want to, you know, they have that sort of spirit, because not everybody does. It's okay. Some people just want to hunt and just, you know, just make it more of a sales process. But some people want to, you know, lead with more value, walk these families through. And, you know, maybe they either have a special connection with a senior, or they already do business with seniors, or they just see it as the fastest growing demographic and they want to work with more of them. Would you, you know, recommend our program and a way to kind of springboard into that a little faster? Would you recommend that to anybody who's listening?
Yes, I mean, I highly recommend it. It's funny you mentioned that. A group that I'm in, you know, of real estate investors. You know, you're familiar with the term mastermind. Well, if you're not familiar with that, that's just where people get together once a week or once a month or whatever the date is, and they talk about their businesses and they try to help each other. So someone that's in one of my masterminds reached out to me last week, and I had this call. They said, "Hey, how are you? You know, we know that you're helping seniors. Like, how are you doing that?" I says, "Wow, there's this great book out there that you know, you could basically, you know, you can write a book, and by writing this book, you're providing value to people. And the greatest thing about it is you're just basically providing value. You know, they might be able to use it in 5 years. It doesn't matter. It's just by you providing value. You know, let's face it, Max, a lot of books, people buy books all the time. They don't even read them, right? I've been guilty of that. There's a whole bookshelf over there. But I do read a lot of them, especially the ones that I'm really interested in, right? So, you know, you're basically providing value by giving someone a book, and you're just providing the truth. And like we said earlier, there's options in there that they can pick. And if you're the option that they pick, well, then that's great. And you treat them fairly, and you're respectful to them, and you do what you say you're going to do. This is a great way to get your message out there. And you're really, it's not like, this is not John Medina's, you know, idea. This is the truth that's been around for years, and it makes it real easy to do business that way. And then you're doing business with people that know you, they read your book, they trust you. And it has to be both ways. I mean, I have to be able to trust the client. If I'm going to be giving people, you know, like, let's say $10,000 to help their loved one get in an assisted living facility, if that's what they need, I have to have that trust with them too, right? I mean, that's one thing we talked about the other day on our team. It's like, we want to do people you know, people do business with people they like and trust. Well, it goes the same way back and forth, right? So I really do like seniors. I had a great relationship with my grandparents, even my great-grandparents here in San Pedro. And I really like doing business with seniors. And to me, they have great stories. They're very, very easy to talk to. They provide a lot of value in the world, right? And I just came, you know, I know, like, I have friends and family that live in Hawaii, and I was there on vacation a couple of weeks ago. It's like, they really treat their seniors really well over there. They bring them to the next level, and that's the way it should be. We should be taking care of these people. Absolutely. You know, we really should be. You know, not taking advantage of them, taking care of them.
And, you know, and you're, you know, helping all these seniors in, you know, one of the most, you know, competitive markets, you know, in the nation. How many of your competitors do you think are sending a book to their prospects instead of a postcard? And how do you think that kind of differentiates you?
You know, I would say none. You know, none. And
that's what I've seen too. I sort of can't believe it. Like, I can't figure out why everybody wouldn't do this.
You know, I think the difference with me is that, like I'm sitting here in my office in San Pedro, right? I'm looking out the window here. I mean, the trash truck just went by. Just give you some color of where I'm at, right? I have an office.
I was hoping you were going to say like the ocean or
no. I'm on a visit 9th and Gaffey in San Pedro with a sign. Brick and mortar. Family-owned business.
Cool.
Right. So, you know, I'm here for the long haul. Yeah. I'm not hiding anywhere. I'm not trying to, you know, I've been in business, my plumbing business I started in 1992. So I've always kind of worked for myself.
Right.
54 years old. So I mean, I've had a job for myself. I've been my own boss for years, right? And and been an entrepreneur ever since I was 12 years old, right? So I've been always had that spirit, but I'm here for the long haul. And this book is basically providing value for the long haul.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm not. I mean, believe me, I love doing business with people, but I also believe that they want to do. They're going to have to want to do business with me. And I have to bring value. Right. Well, you know, I have to bring value to the people I'm dealing with, and I feel this book just brings a lot of value, and basically what it's doing is it's leaving you with something that like all books, there's knowledge in there, and it's and you know how many of these books we read, Max? You know, we're always trying to better ourselves, right?
Right.
All the information's in the book, but then you're basically like you know. You read it, but you think there's something else out there that's better. So you go to the next program, The greatest thing about this book is there's really not that many programs that are involved with selling your house. As far as like you know, there's a couple. There's maybe, you know, I don't know. What do you think? Maybe 5 options of that.
Yeah.
And it's real basic. It's black and white. Yeah, it's black and white.
It's kind of evergreen. You know, it's not changing a lot. And like you said, you know, with your grandma and stuff, you know, 40-year-old carpet is like, you know, that means that they're selling the house every 40 years. It's like, you know, they need a little coaching, and to make a good decision, it doesn't take that much. And so we're excited to partner with, you know, really smart, trustworthy people like you to spread that word, allow, you know, you to lead with value, and then also, you know, grow your business at the same time. So like everybody wins. Which is the way it should be. So if folks are listening that are in LA and they're just wanting to just get your advice and opinion, I know that they can go through a process and speak directly to you. What does that process look like for them to reach out to you guys directly?
Yeah, well, you know, what happens is we have a website, and I really encourage people to go to our website. Why? Right. The website has a lot of information, it provides a lot of value, tells the story of our company, right? It talks about the you know, the process of doing business with us or with between each other, and it basically lays everything out. It has testimonials, so I encourage you to read the test, and some great videos, really great videos about how people have called the competition, and why they chose us, right? That's a big one, and that's really I think that's key. There's a lot of value there for people. And then the other thing too is like we do a lot of work in the community with charity. Oh, good. So I'm big on charities, right? So you know, every deal that we do, we give money back. So we kind of say like it's written in our website. It's like every deal every contract that we close, we donate $100 to charity. And that's been working really well. We've been helping people in Watts, which is about 25 miles from here. Working with kids in the Los Angeles Police Department, handing out gifts to kids for high character, because that's really important to me that kids have high character, right?
Oh,
so
100%.
You know, we're working with LAPD and a local kid with a charitable organization called A Kid Just Like Me. Okay. So we're giving he's giving Nintendo Switches to kids with high character. So there's a video on there about that. I don't know if do you know Frank McKinney by any chance?
I've heard that name, yes.
Yeah, he's down in Florida. Interesting guy. He calls himself the real estate artist. He builds custom homes, really on speculation to sell. But anyways, my point is that he builds villages in Haiti. And basically you could contribute, you know, you could contribute from a small amount, or you could actually donate a sum of money to build a house. So it's frankmckinney.com, and it's Caring House Foundation. I'm pretty sure that's the name of it.
So tell us your website one more time, and then for somebody who's not as website inclinated, a good phone number that they can reach out to and talk to somebody on your team.
Right. So I'm sorry I went off about my website, because I love my website. But anyway,
no, I'm glad. And I've been on it. It's really good. I mean, there's a reason why when you type in, you know, sell my house, you know, Los Angeles, you're like one of the first people to come up. You've been doing this a while. So congrats on that.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. We work really hard on it. So it's John Medina. So JohnMedina Buys Houses.com. Okay. Cool. And then if you want to call, we have Peggy. She answers the phone. She's great. Peggy will talk to you all day long. She's really, really, really has a lot of good information. She's a good listener. And you can give her a call at 310-928-9688. And that's
Perfect.
Peggy's direct phone number.
Very cool.
And you can get a hold of her there.
Well, why don't we do this? We'd love to have you back for an update, 6 months or so, and see how things are progressing. It's going to be a really cool year. There's going to be things are opening up, and there's going to be a lot of opportunities to help people. And then we're looking forward to getting your message out, and share this video if you like it, give it a thumbs up, and so let's do that. And then until next time, just keep us posted on all of your success.
Well, great. I really appreciate it, Max. Thanks for having me on. And I know you're bringing a ton of value to people. So thank you for what you're doing.
Yeah,
It's
awesome.
really
Well,
big.
guys, my pleasure. I love it. It's fun. It's fun to help people and, grow our business at the same time. There's nothing wrong with that. And, but yeah, just like, leading with value, just like look in the mirror every day, you feel good about what you're doing. And we're doing it with our home buying business. And so it's been sweet. So why don't we do this, guys? If you watched this video and you liked it, just give us a thumbs up, and feel free to check out some of our other videos. If you're in the LA area, I highly encourage you. And you're a homeowner or you know a homeowner, I highly, highly encourage you and recommend John reach out to him. And until next time, we'll talk soon. Bye, everybody.
Good.